Greetings, mortals! My name is Caleb, you can call me Lord Moch, and today we are starting our spooktacular homebrew heist featuring all the denizens of the dark, those that come out to plague mankind with all of their deepest and darkest fears. All right, I hope you guys are excited. I'm really excited. It's Halloween time. It's October. It's, in my opinion, the most wonderful time of the year. Don't ask me to do that again. But today, we are doing a part one video of races that are vampiric in nature that you can find and play in 5th edition D&D. The vampire happens to be one of my all-time favorite monsters from lore and history. A lot of great vampire related media throughout the years, like Blade and I almost like Casablanca, but Castlevania, Magic the Gathering, and of course Dungeons and Dragons. And one of the greatest races that you could do to reflect a love of vampires, while vampires are a little too powerful to be played, you could play a vampire offspring in the form of a Dhampir. Now, we have got a few of these to go through. Remember, today is just part one, and I will release part two on Thursday. This episode is coming out on Tuesday. So part two will be on Tuesday, where we'll talk about a couple more vampire offspring-like races, or even vampire races themselves that are available in Dungeons and Dragons. But today we'll be concentrating on a couple that I found on the D&D Wikipedia website. So first, let's talk about the Dhampir variant. A Dhampir is a creature that is a result between a vampire and a human. Dhampirs are shapely and comely. Their beauty is often compared to that of royalty. Dhampir powers are similar to those of vampires, but without the usual weaknesses. They are a great danger to both enemies and friends. It is recommended to take extreme caution when dealing with them. So, pretty much what they're saying is Dhampirs kind of like toe the line between the ability to act human while at the same time trying to, like, bottle the essence of what it is to be a vampire in them, because they can be just as dangerous as vampires, of course. And this will be a longer episode, guys, so I mean, we're probably looking at 30 to 40 minutes just to get through part one. Part two will be a little bit shorter, but let's go ahead and get through it so we can stop wasting time. While they seem to be more or less human, many Dhampirs have pale skin and dark hair. Very sensible. At birth, they resemble stillborns, but they do have a very faint heartbeat. Most even possess sharpened teeth and claws, reminders of their undead heritage. They feed the same way as humans, but do not have problems being out in the sun. Their looks are human too, though they are described as being more graceful in appearance than humans. They are not as powerful as vampires, but are instead granted the gift of not needing to feed on others. So this one's kind of cool, like not needing to feed. I don't know how I really feel about that. You should still have, like, where's the negative to this? There's not really a negative to this. It's more positive so far. Dhampirs appear to be tall and sturdy while having graceful features and a slender appearance that belies their unnatural strength. Belies their unnatural strength, bellies. Being the offspring of a vampire and a human parent, the Dhampir are usually the children of a tragic romance or something much more sinister. This causes them to search for their reason for being created. In some cases, join or hunt their immortal parent for answers. So a really cool thing would already be to do that. I can't even think of the name of the class. The Blood Hunter? I think it's the Blood Hunter. To be a Dhampir Blood Hunter, that would just be really awesome. It'd be a really cool backstory. So we're talking about Blade here. Blade is a great Marvel character that would be considered a Dhampir, and he actually ends up hunting vampires, hating the fact that he is half vampire himself, and taking his anger out on the creatures that the monster that he sees in himself by killing other vampires. Let's see here. Dampiers normally live a solitary lifestyle, feared and shunned and even hunted by other races. Because of this, a great number of Dampiers reject their vampiric heritage. Few, if any, can even stand the presence of a vampire. They are famed for their ability to not only hunt vampires, but also other mythical creatures. Most are driven and stubborn, yet strangely charismatic. But yet again, there is a group who are willing to help and protect their undead relatives and be their guard. This is presumably because of their ability to move in the sun, which makes them excellent followers for vampires. So, let's go ahead and talk about the traits of a Dhampir. Well, for this variant of Dhampir, your charisma score is going to go up by 2. That makes a whole lot of sense. Vampires are always naturally charismatic. Physical enhancement, you get to pick either strength, dexterity, or constitution to increase by 1. Again, makes perfect sense. Vampires are going to be more powerful than the average human, so being able to choose one of those just makes sense to me. Dhampirs mature at roughly the same age as humans, but do not age further than reaching maturity, and they do not die of old age. Makes perfect sense. Alignment, as with humans, a Dhampir's alignment is solely determined by the individual, though due to their unique heritage and is subsequently treated by most of the world, they easily fall to evil, and they also tend slightly towards chaotic alignments. This makes a lot of sense. It would be very difficult for a Dhampir to have a lawful alignment due to them needing to quell the blood within, for lack of a better term. They would always be either on the verge of of that chaos. So a lawful character would be kind of interesting to play. Now, I'm not a big proponent of once you pick what kind of alignment you have, you 100% have to stick to that. But my opinion on it with the alignment chart is you have a general range. Like, if I'm going to say I'm lawful neutral, that doesn't mean that I can't do lawful evil things and lawful good things. Or, like, let's say I'm lawful good. If there is a loophole in the law, that is not breaking the law. I can still do that. Like, let's say, for instance, tax law. There are lots of loopholes in tax law. If I can use those loopholes to my advantage, there's nothing evil about that. But there is something evil about somebody only paying $750 a year for income tax in 2018, so 2016. I hope you guys know who I'm talking about. So, let's go ahead and get back to it. Size, they are medium. Speed is 30 feet, dark vision. You get 60 feet of dark vision and bright light. Let's see, vampire gaze. You have proficiency in the persuasion skill. That makes a whole lot of sense to me. You can spend 1 minute talking to someone who you can understand what they say. You can make a charisma persuasion check contested by the creature's wisdom insight check. If you or your companions are fighting the creature, your check automatically fails. If your check succeeds, the target is magically charmed by you as long as it remains within 60 feet of you for 1 minute thereafter. This makes a lot of sense. I'm glad they didn't just make it, you can cast a charm person spell. I like this a lot better. There's flavor here. Vampire claws. As a Dhampir, your fingernails are tough like claws and are natural weapons, which you can use to make unarmed strikes. If you hit with them, you deal slashing damage equal to 1d4 plus your strength or dexterity modifier instead of the bludgeoning damage normal for an unarmed strike. Languages, you can speak, read, and write Common and one other language of your choice. So far, this has been really good. Now we're going to go into some variants of the Dhampir. Dhampir. I like to say it like that. Real quick, sorry, I'm going to crack open some liquid death. If you guys aren't familiar, it's an amazing water company that offers canned water, and it is refreshing. Oh man, I love it. It's so great, and it's such a great pun and such great fun. All right, so I'm gonna try to get through these as fast as I can. I think this might be the same thing. Yeah, this is the exact same stuff. The only difference in everything we have here is instead of vampire's claws, you have the vampire's bite. You have the ability to make a bite attack against the willing creature, a creature that is charmed or grappled by you, or a creature that is incapacitated or restrained. You can use your strength or dexterity for your bite's attack roll. On a hit, you deal, your bite deals necrotic damage equal to 1d6 plus the ability modifier used to make the attack roll. You may also choose to gain temporary hit points equal to the amount of necrotic damage dealt with this attack. You may gain temporary hit points from this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Any expended uses of this feature are restored at a long rest. So this was the normal Dhampir, and then you have the Dhampir variant who has the vampire claws. In my opinion, we should just combine these and make it so it's one thing. Makes total sense to me. It's not that overpowered. I mean, there is the fact that you get temporary hit points, but you're probably going to end up biting 9 times out of 10 compared to using the vampire claws. So the vampire's claws don't really do anything for you. So I would just combine the two and give this one Dhampir one race with both the claws and the bite. Because let's be honest, that claw attack isn't really worth it when you have that bite attack to gain. So you're not really gaining anything there. So now we have the Dhampir, or the Vampiric, which this is supposed to be based off the movie and video game series Blood Rain, which I've only seen the first movie, but I really do love that movie, and wow, I love the character in that movie. I don't know if there's books or something for it too, but let's go ahead and get into it. Dhampir are human vampire hybrids. They largely resemble pale humanoids. Dhampirs have the strength of a vampire, but only some of the weaknesses to a much lighter degree. They are born as living rather than undead, and so they lack any stench of death about them. So this is interesting. They're a little bit different. They're not undead creatures like most of the other Dhampir that we're going to see here. Their bodies are able to perform superhuman feats, even if they seem lanky. Usually they look quite beautiful. Like vampires, they cannot stand water. However, they do not sustain detriment from holy relics or sunlight like other vampire ancestors. So see, that was something that we were seeing from the other two over here, that they did not have any water weaknesses, because in Dungeons & Dragons, I don't know if you guys know this, but vampires actually take damage in the form of acid damage to running water. So they weren't taking any of that, plus they didn't have any of the sunlight sensitivity or any of that stuff. So we have got a really good blade character here. We haven't gotten into the traits yet, but if we're seeing some weaknesses here, this is going to be less blade-like and maybe a little bit more realistic. Dhampir are the offspring of humans and vampires. Vampirica is the endearing name given to a female offspring. Vampires throughout history were a force that lingered at the back of a civilization's mind, ready to pounce. They would, wow, this is kind of, they would rape humans and force them to bear their children. Ugh, a little dark here. Then they would murder the human parent and their family, leaving the child the sole survivor who can only turn to their vampire parent. Doing so endured their loyalty from a young age. It is believed vampires were looking to utilize their offspring to raise some kind of Dhampir army. Luckily, Dhampirs are smarter than they bargained for, and many realize this trickery. Dhampir usually turn to vampire hunting because of their powers to detect and destroy the undead. If their own hatred of vampires did not push them to do so, the external forces like humans, kingdoms that have rooted out Dhampir sometimes threaten them with death unless they hunted vampires in the king's service. Humans often did not care to distinguish Dhampir from the vampiric ancestors and treated them harshly, even when they were public servants. As such, Dhampir are wary of humans and their intentions as well. They try to keep a low profile so as to not be discovered. It is rumored that vampires could utilize magic to turn invisible, but this could not escape the senses of a Dhampir. Why they have this ability is unknown. Excuse me real quick. I'll be drinking a lot of that water, okay? We gotta murder that thirst. So for society, Dhampir live generally undetected among human society, although they invariably grow up motherless as their mother dies giving birth to them. If not, they are driven insane and killed by the vampire parent. It is rarer for a female vampire to bear children with a male human than the other way around. Dhampir can belong... Wait, did I read that wrong? It is rarer for a female vampire... Oh, no. Wow. So it's rare for a female vampire to give birth from a male human. So it's more male vampires are having relations with female humans. Dhampir can belong to any class and may be found working in any profession, although they invariably gravitate towards occupations that minimize contact with others. Once a Dhampir recognizes the supernatural ability it possesses, many of them try to do good by hunting and slaying vampires wherever they find them. This is particularly true of Dhampir who have had contact with their vampire parents. Otherwise, other vampire find it as easy to turn evil and adopt their father's predatory ways in exchange for power. So, let's go ahead and get into the traits real quick. Vampires are going to get a +2 to charisma and a +1 to any other ability score they want. That is huge. This is going to open up the Dhampir to be a powerhouse in almost any class, at least this version of it. Age, they similar to humans, but have a much longer life expectancy spanning up to a millennium. So technically, these ones we're talking about what doesn't really matter, but these ones technically have a beating heart, so they can die of old age. Uh, Alignment, due to their usual hatred for their vampire parents, Dhampir typically lend towards a more neutral or good path in order to right their parents' wrongdoing and rid the world of their creatures. So why are like I would imagine that, if you're going to go with this classic backstory, that vampires are going to stop having children with humans. Medium, 30 feet. Dark vision out to 60 feet. Vampire sense. They can sense the presence of any Dhampir or vampire within 120 feet of them. You know the location and the numbers if they are in groups. This is, I guess, because they are expert vampire hunters. But I don't really see the why. I don't really see the why, I guess. But, I mean, it's still cool. Vampire superhuman. You have an amazing physique and can appear young in relation to your real age. You are proficient in athletic skill. Additionally, you count as one size larger when determining your carrying capacity and the weight you can push, drag, or lift. So I really like this. This explains the immense strength that vampires have. So instead of just giving them that +2 strength, they just made it so that, they can naturally do it no matter what their strength score is. They're always going to be more powerful. I would actually consider taking the Dhampir and either getting rid of the option of giving strength, and instead only dexterity and constitution, and giving them this because it makes a lot of sense to me. Natural acrobat. Your body is able and flexible. You are proficient in the acrobatic skill. Additionally, you can add your dexterity modifier to your jumping distance. Again, makes a lot of sense. Vampires are anything a human can do, they can do better. Vampiric resistance. This is the first time we're getting some kind of resistance here. You are resistant to necrotic damage. Big thing. It can be very big. Just depends on the world that you're playing in. You get common and 2 extra languages of your choice because of your relationship to your undead father or mother. At least I'm going to assume that. Now we're going to get into a little bit of a weirder Dhampir, like a definitely different kind of Dhampir here. We're going to be talking about the Dhampire, or I don't know how you actually pronounce it. They are virtually indistinguishable from humans, save their slit pupils, denoting their vampiric heritage. I don't know what that means. I guess vampires have slit pupils in this person's world, but hey, I'm cool with it. They are often pale as the sun will make them uncomfortable, though they are not as susceptible as pure-blooded vampires. Their bodies are usually well built due to spirit and magic coursing through them. This one's a little cooler. Even the weakest vampire child can give a full-grown man a fight for his money, which makes a lot of sense. They also do have slightly elongated fangs, but nowhere long enough to puncture or draw blood. True to their ancestors' vitality, they can heal from heavy wounds and survive near fatal encounters, usually only taking a few days to recover. The history. The vampires came from the moon via I bet this is from an anime. Which it can be easily, altered to fit, whatever world you want to play in. But I am just going to read it as is. They established the Kingdom of the Moon. However, they were not discriminate and mated with the humans who inhabited the land. Their offspring were the Dhampire. The births of these half-breeds were so frequent they quickly outnumbered the purebloods. They vary greatly in thickness of their vampire blood. Those who had thicker blood could use greater magic. Others relied on the spiritual powers afforded by their human parents. 1,000 years ago, the Kingdom of the Moon fell to ruins at the hands of its own pureblood king, wiping out nearly all the vampire race save the king and the Dhampires. The Dhampires, having been largely second-class citizens and outcasts for their inferior blood for so long, greatly desired either a place of their own to call home or to become human. They desire the death of the vampire king, whose blood is said to be able to turn them human. Others are looking for a return to the moon. Vampires live in small communities overseen by a small group of elite vampires. The elite group represents them before a council of the world leaders who keep a close watch on them. Vampires are generally inconspicuous in society. They are allowed to human districts, as their appearance usually causes no alarm. However, their resources and safety largely depend on the forces which keep them surveilled. As human leaders tend to be hostile towards them, vampires see less and less of a reason to continue living among humans as things are. They thus hasten to find and kill the king or leave for the moon. So this one's a little bit different. I kind of like this one. Still more vampire hunting. We're seeing a trend here that everything is about vampire hunting. Excuse me. Longer video, more talking. Gonna have to have that water. So you're gonna get a strength increase of +2 and a wisdom increase of +1. I mean, that's not very classic, but I mean, I still think it's okay. They can live for millennia, sustained by their spirit and magic. They age very slowly. They can have any alignment a human can have, which, by again, I'm not really big in alignment. I mean, I'm for alignment in the most general of terms. Walking speed of 30 feet, dark vision of 60, spirit power. So here's what this works. Your powerful spirit courses and keeps your body going even at the hardest time. When you are reduced to 0 HP, but not killed outright, you can drop to 1 hit point instead. You can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. So this is the half orc ability, I'm pretty sure, which can be really, really powerful. I think the orc has to exactly drop down to 0 though. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't call me on that. You're quite. Innate magic. The vampire blood in you affords a good deal of magic power. You know the Blade Ward cantrip. At 5th level, you may choose a 3rd level spell from the wizard's spell list. You can cast this spell without using material components. You must finish a long rest before using the spell again. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability for these spells. So, I mean, having a little bit of flavor. If you wanted to go for a martial class, you can have some magic that can be really cool for you. Slight sunlight sensitivity. You are not heavily blinded like the drows to sunlight. You have disadvantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on sight when you're in direct sunlight. This is a big one. This is really cool. Regenerative. You can heal up in a pinch. As a bonus action, you can expend a hit die to regain hit points. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you complete a short or long rest. This is big for in combat. That is just amazing. Languages, you can speak, read, and write Common in one of the language of your choice. 4 down, and I think 2 more to go. Just in case, I'm going to do this real quick so you guys can... Yeah, I did have 1 more to go after this. So, 4 down, 3 to go. Alright, so now we're going to be talking about another variation of the Vampire. I think we can just kind of skip the... I mean, we're gonna let's just read it. I told you guys it was gonna be a long episode, so let's just do it. See if there's anything different here. So this is another version of the Vampire. Some traditions specify signs by which the children of a Vampire can be recognized. They have untamed dark or black hair and lack a shadow. Ooh, I'm kind of glad I read this one. A pronounced nose was often a sign, as were larger than normal ears, sharper teeth, or large eyes that shine in moonlight. For a moment, I was kind of getting like, this isn't like racist, is it? Like towards real world races. On a full moon, a dim glow is said to manifest around the Vampire's eyes. Most Vampires take great care in distinguishing their vampiric heritage as to not arouse suspicions in superstitious towns. Vampire also tend to possess the unnatural looks of their vampiric heritage, usually in the form of exotic beauty or distinct gauntness to their forms, depending on the vampiric sire. So this one's kind of cool. I like this one. A lot of good flavor in this one. Different. Vampires are born from women who are bitten by a vampire while they are pregnant. Blade! So this only happens if a pregnant woman is bitten by a vampire. Such women often die in the process of birthing the Dhampir, leaving the child without parents or home. Vampires are outcast in society, although they are not instantly burned to dust in sunlight. It is still a great discomfort for sunlight to directly touch their skin, and it will eventually kill them if they are not careful. Most often, the women who are bitten as are elves. Ooh, okay. But other races have been known to produce vampires as well, most notably humans. Though they do not need to drink blood like their vampiric fathers, a Dhampir is still equipped with sharp fangs and can drink the very life essence of a creature to bolster itself. I love this one. This one's really cool. Excuse me, I'm going to get that water. This one is really, really cool. I like this one so far. A lot of good flavor here. And again, homebrew doesn't always need to have flavor, but flavor helps a lot. Because flavor just, you can see something that looks really intriguing when it comes to the mechanics of it, but if you don't have that lore, that flavor that makes you want to play it, like you're just using mechanics then. Like what's the point of doing it if all there is the mechanics of it? That lore and that flavor bring the essence of the game to life, and I love it. Dhampirs are neither alive nor dead and exist in a strange limbo that are until they are stricken down by blade or stake. Their lives are unnaturally long, and a Dhampir is not killed, they can continue to live for nearly 1,000 years. They are not welcome in most pure undead hordes, and many towns, upon learning of the Dhampir's heritage, will incite a mob to attempt to oust or kill the Dhampir. This tends to lead Dhampirs to embrace their vampiric side entirely and become just as monstrous as those that sired them. But like with all other races, the actions of some do not dictate the course of all, and many Dhampir just try to lead normal lives as they can, and some even dedicate their lives to eradicating creatures of the night, so that other children do not become like they are. So many Blade references here. Alright, so you're going to get a charisma score of +2, and you get a +1 to either strength, dexterity, or constitution. Exactly what we've been seeing here. You live up to 1,000 years. Dhampirs are typically thought of as evil, but just as many Dhampirs try to escape their vampiric heritage as embrace it, you tend towards good or evil, so you're kind of staying out of that neutral area. You're going extreme one or extreme other. Same size as an elf or human, medium, 30 feet of speed there. Sorry, guys. Superior dark vision out to 120 feet. So that's a little bit more powerful than all the other guys we're getting. Sharp Fang, Bite. Your Sharp Fangs are a natural weapon which can be used to make an unarmed strike. If you hit with it, you deal 1d4 plus your strength or dexterity modifier instead of bludgeoning. It's piercing. Blood Drinker, like your sire, you can gain benefits from drinking the life essence of others, though not as freely as they can. You have the ability to make a bite attack against either a willing creature, or a creature that is grappled by you, or a creature that is incapacitated or restrained as a bonus action, or as a part of your attack action. You can use your strength or dexterity for your bite's attack roll. On a hit, your bite deals damage equal to 2d6 plus the ability modifier used to make the attack roll. It gains an additional 1d6 damage when your character level reaches 5, 9, 13, and 17. You may choose to gain temporary HP equal to the amount of necrotic damage dealt with this attack. You may use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Any expended uses of this feature are restored after a long rest. That is kind of powerful for a level 1 creature, being able to do 2d6 damage and get temporary life points back. Kind of powerful here, especially when you're going to, bring up all the other things that you can do, like grappling specialists and all these other things. Might have to tone that down a little bit, but so far I am liking it. This one kind of makes more sense when it comes to, trying to balance the abilities of the vampire with the human. Grappling specialist. You have had a lot of practice getting a good grip and keeping it on target. You add double your proficiency modifier bonus to any strength athletics check to check. You add double your proficiency bonus to any strength athletics skill check made to initiate and maintain a grapple, and your target has disadvantage on skill checks made to avoid or escape from that grapple. I'm pretty sure that's a feat. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's a feat. I'm pretty sure there's a grappling feat that allows you to gain to gain to give your opponent either disadvantage or you're going to be getting some kind of advantage. So that's kind of powerful. Natural acrobat. Your body is able and flexible. You're proficient in the acrobatic skill. Additionally, you can add your dexterity modifier to your jumping distance. So I'm going to be honest here. This kind of sounds like they were taking the best things from all these different Vampire classes and throwing them into this one. So hopefully we're going to be seeing some negatives here in a minute, which I am seeing some right now. Vampiric resistance, like your Vampiric Sire, you are less affected to the energies of death. You have resistance to necrotic damage. So we got a lot of positives here. A lot. Harmed by running water. Like the vampire that sired you, Vampire are harmed by running water, if to a much lesser degree. The Vampire takes 1d6 acid damage if it ends its turn at least half submerged in running water. So that's a classic D&D weakness to vampires take. Damage to running water, so I like this. Sunlight sensitivity, you have disadvantage on attack rolls and wisdom checks that rely on sight when you, the target of the attack, or whatever you are trying to perceive, is in direct sunlight. Alright, now we're getting into some disadvantages, so I'm going to waive my problems with all the advantages that you get as a vampire for this specific race. A lot of disadvantages here. Sunlight fatigue. Sunlight is detrimental for a vampire and will eventually kill it if they stay out of it for far too long. For each hour the vampire spends in full sunlight, they must make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw. On a failure, they gain a level of exhaustion, and the DC resets to 10. On a success, the next saving throw is made at DC 10 plus the number of successes. This save is made at advantage if the vampire wears clothing that completely covers the skin or provides enough shade. A level of exhaustion gained this way is removed for each hour spent out of direct sunlight, such as in consistent shade, in a building, or underground. Using the Blood Drinker trait successfully suspends all levels of exhaustion gained from this trait until all the temporary hit points are depleted. A level of exhaustion is removed, or another level of exhaustion is gained by failing a saving throw against it. Saving throws made while exhaustion is suspended in this way are made as if the vampire has failed no saves prior. You can speak, read, and write Common in any other language of your choice. So, this is the quintessential vampire. This is probably the best version I've seen so far. This one's kind of like more magical and everything, and I don't hate magical. I can get behind magical. In fact, the regenerative one actually kind of makes sense to me. These other ones are kind of like, they're good ideas and everything. In fact, just to kind of round this one out, I would go ahead and give it the claws attack. And I mean, depending on if the campaign's going to have a lot of sunlight stuff, I might even give it the regenerative thing. So, because the weaknesses do, as long as you're going to be forced to be out in sunlight a lot, the weaknesses can be used by the DM to make it worthwhile to get all these bonuses. Because all these bonuses don't matter for crap if the DM's going to do things to negate your ability to do anything in sunlight. So, again, so far, this is probably my favorite one. I really do like this one. So, I mean, we got 2 more to go over, and then we're going to end the video, and I'll do part 2, of course. I don't know why I'm over-explaining things to you guys. Alright, so, this is the Damir, or whatever you say that word. Damirs resemble humanoids with pale to near translucent skin that is wet and slimy. When translucent, the veins and musculatures are nearly entirely visible due to this disintegration of flesh. The musculature structure can also be easily seen due to their nearly transparent dermis. This sounds disgusting. Most notable are the impressive vampiric fangs in their mouths, which are as long as vampires might be. They usually have red eyes and are hairless. Some have skin missing in places where fluids may ooze as the result. They are commonly said to be cold and wet to the touch and exude a foul odor or death. This is disgusting. In the Crusades against the Night, many fell to the hordes of vampires and their army of spawn. However, near the end of the Triumph of Light, The vampires were desperate to turn the tides. The other side had thoroughly choked off much of their resources, such that they could not easily secure fresh blood or new victims to turn. They were entrenched within towns where they had gorged wantonly, surrounded only by corpses of their own spawn and innocents. It was never thought to be possible nor healthy that a vampire stoop to using a rotten source of sustenance. They always did it fresh, raising spawn from the recent kills the night after. However, in their desperation, they chose to feed on the dead and try to turn them. This seemed to have been a failure of judgment on their part in desperation. The forces of light galloped in by dawn while the vampires were trying to get the last drop of gross, coagulated blood out, which did not sustain them enough against their enemies. The battle ended in favor of radiance, and the vampires were slain. The spawn were burned, and the innocents were buried. About a year later, there were knocks of dead rising from where they had buried those slain by the vampires, whom they had thought unturned. These odd monstrosities of undead roamed about looking for corpses to loot and to turn into more damnires. I don't like that word. They display an odd knack for finding burial grounds despite their misleading appearance of a brainless creature. The sight of them became a common cautionary tale among keepers of the grave sites. This behavior has earned them the nickname of Corpse Looter Vampire. I'm going to tell you right now, I freaking love this lore. Great story, makes a lot of sense. In desperation, a group of vampires fed on corpses and were able to turn them. Amazing. Freaking love this. Alright, Damnires are arisen from their graves with long delays, unlike vampire spawn. They are slow to recognize anything but other corpses which they can feed and turn. As they wander, they are said to regain a limited sentience and intelligence only as their bodies and minds are thoroughly damaged beyond a certain point of repair. This does not make them, however, prone to destruction. They are shown to have a sense which draws them to the other undead, like zombies and shadows, as well as Damnires. The most observed activity they display cohesively is hunting or raiding, which they do in mass. A good many Damnire are usually overtake a settlement at night, despite their initial appearance of a shambling figure. They retain some vampiric hunger and viciousness. While they prefer to feed on corpses, it is rumored that drinking the blood of a living can bring them closer to becoming true vampires. This has never been proven. The living slain by Damnires usually become Damnires a long time after their bodies rot and they rise. As such, Damnires are among the hunted undead. Some say that even vampires hunt them, seeing them as a taboo which must be erased. I freaking love this. I would love to see a vampire lich or something like that who uses I would not have this as a race that my players can play because it's just different. This is a monstrous race, and while monstrous races can be played, there's a lot of backstory that needs to come into this. Like, okay, you have no intelligence almost. Like, all you do is feed. Why are you doing it? I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just a lot more difficult. So you only get a +2 to Constitution. And by the way, this is combining two of my favorite monsters, the zombie and the vampire. So, yeah. But all you get is a +2 to Constitution. Damnires do not age per se. Often they are risen, nor do they die of age. However, due to the often poor state of their bodies, they can break down due to wear and tear if they do not feed to rejuvenate themselves. Damnires are very dull and neutrally inclined to kill, like zombies. Medium build, 25 feet of speed. They have dark vision up to 60 feet. Undead, your creature type is undead. As such, you are immune to spells targeting specifically humanoids like Hold Person. Healing potions and spells do not affect you. To heal, you must either drink blood, spend hint dice, or finish a long rest. You are also resistant to necrotic damage, but vulnerable to radiant damage. So we're looking at the first vampire race that has vulnerability to radiant damage. And that's probably because of the zombie, not the vampire. A lot of people don't understand that, excuse that, guys. Sorry about that. A lot of people don't understand that that vampires don't there's no real lore in most things that vampires take damage from crosses and stuff. That's ridiculous stuff. Blood feeder. Even though you are undead, you still require sustenance in the form of blood to sustain your unholy existence. You were immune to diseases. You do not need to eat or breathe, but you do have to ingest. But you can ingest food or drink if you wish, though this food is always bland and stale to you. If you go for longer than 7 days without drinking at least one ration of blood, you suffer one level of exhaustion on the midnight of that day, which can only be removed by drinking a ration of blood. After consuming one ration of blood, you recover all levels of exhaustion. If you reach 6 levels of exhaustion due to this trait, your body ceases to function and disassembles back into a rotting corpse, and you are destroyed. A ration of blood is a vial, roughly 4 ounces, and while this is just enough to sustain you each week, you still feel the urge to drink and may still appear twitchy or ravenous in the heat of battle or when treating a wounded ally. A pint, such as that contained within a flask, is considered a healthy amount, enough to keep you sustained while you also keeping you from drifting into thoughts solely of hunger. Each ration of blood heals you for 1d4 plus 1 hit points, while a pint will heal you for 2d4 plus 1. Hey, they have their own healing potions. Bite. You have sharpened the teeth of a vampire with which to draw blood. If a willing, paralyzed, charmed, incapacitated, restrained, or grappled creature within 5 feet of you has blood, you may use your bonus action to bite them, dealing 1d6 piercing damage and draining their blood, dealing an additional necrotic damage equal to your Constitution modifier. Drinking blood this way is equal to consuming a ration as per your blood feeder feat. You may also feed on corpses this way if fulfill your blood feeder trait. However, if you do so, you do not recover hit points as you normally would. When you use your bite, you can choose to not deal damage. I like that a lot. That makes a whole lot of sense to me. And honestly, I would kind of like try to work this dealing damage equal to your Constitution modifier to this one, because that's a lot of damage to start out with. So maybe we can use these two to kind of combine them together. Some of the things. Corpse Finder. Whenever you make an intelligence history check related to the location of a burial ground or graveyard, you're considered proficient in the history skill and add double your proficiency bonus to that check instead of your normal proficiency bonus. Additionally, you have advantage in wisdom survival checks to locate corpse remains. You can read, speak, and write common. Your script is badly scrawled, however, and your speech is heavily slurred with bad sentence structure. Not zombie. All right. So now let's go ahead and start on the last race that we have to look at tonight, which is the Vrlaka. All right, one more drink real quick. All right. Vrlakas were originally human and thus retained that humanoid shape. Their blood bond ritual, which created them, has altered them in noticeable ways, but one has to look a little closer. Vrlakas commonly have dark gray or blue eyes that turn red when they are angered or excited. Their skin is uniformly pale and chalky. Some have more color, ranging from pale pinkish flesh to chalky purple. Most Vrlakas have hair in shades of red, from deep scarlet to strawberry blonde, though there are some with shades like a dark red-brown or near black. As they age, Vrlaka maintain their vitality. The ritual makes it so they can live up to 300 years and beyond easily. Powerful Vrlaka are untouchable by the flow of time, though they can be killed as normal. This slow time sometimes shows on their choice of dress, like aristocrats of older times. Their clothes or even armors are more elegant. Often they carry designs unique to their blood family. So, here's the history on Vrlaka. They originated from an ancient household shrouded in legend. The household name is lost to time, but they supposedly owned lands touched by mist, and they were fanatics for eternal life. An entity thought to be the exarch of the Raven Queen, the Red Witch, appeared to them on a stormy night with answers to their wishes. She taught them the blood bond ritual, which made them like the vampires, with incredible vigor and life to last. This household is rumored to have been the origin of the name Vrlaka, though it is speculated. The ritual spread among the noble circles mostly, and these families used their newfound dark power to take control of their lands. However, following an uprising, their powers were lost forever. These deposed nobles endured, however, against the test of time, lurking in the background. They instead have risen to prominence under the guise of humans and insinuate their presence in high ranks of other societies. Too few Vrlaka exist to consist of a community. However, these ancient families have persisted. They make others into Verlaka to replenish their ranks and induct them into the family. Verlaka hide in plain sight, usually passing as human. Their dealings in the darker side of society consist of brutal political games between themselves and other rival families jousting for power. Those who turn their backs on family are exiled, for nothing is greater than blood bonds. These exiles are usually the ones traveling with outsiders. Verlaka follow the pursuit for a full and everlasting life. Therefore, to turn stagnated ancient like a true vampire is repulsive to them. Their human minds remain able to enjoy the passage of time. With their elongated lifespans, they love to find fascinating things which keep them occupied and interested and glad to be alive. Those who become weary of living usually are the most dangerous, as life ceases to have a value and they proceed to play with mortals like pawns. Loyalty is the greatest belief for all Verlaka. Nothing beats your blood family, and to portray that as death. However, some become able to open up to outsiders despite the danger in doing so. All Verlaka also swear fealty to the Red Witch, which is accredited with the foundation of their race. This is really cool. This is really different, and I really like this. Very different, very cool. Yeah, this is neat. I can get behind this one. Charisma score increases by 2, and either your strength or dexterity gets to increase by 1. Due to the blood bond ritual sustaining them, Verlaka live no less than 300 years and are vital until they die. Verlaka tend to be lawful, which our first example of really true lawful, to be honest with you. Mediums, 35 feet, so increased by 5 feet by compared to everybody else. Dark vision out to 60 feet. Living dead, because your soul is tainted by undeath, you are both living and undead. You are considered both humanoid and undead. You are susceptible to spell effects which target either type. Necrotic energies, you get to be resistant to necrotic damage. Human heritage, you have advantage on charisma deception checks to pass as human. Lifeblood, you gain a burst of vigor from the ebbing life force of your enemies. You can use an action to drink the blood of a creature within 5 feet of you that has 0 hit points. You gain temporary hit points equal to your level plus charisma modifier. You can speak, read, and write comment in one other language of your choice. Now we actually have some racial feats. Blood Wolf. You can assume the shape of a wolf or revert as a bonus action as per the polymorph spell. While in this shape, you have 50 feet of movement, ignore difficult terrain, and are proficient in the perception skill. Taking any damage causes you to revert into your normal shape. As a bonus action, you can revert to your normal shape. Blood Bond. Target a humanoid friendly to you within 5 feet of you that has died since your last turn. You can provide your blood to revive or resurrect them. Oh my god, this is so great! If they are dead, expend 3 hit dice to revive them. The target awakens with hit points equal to the value of hit dice expended on a roll. After using this feat, you gain 1 level of exhaustion. If the target is of a race susceptible to vampirism, they must succeed a Constitution saving throw against a DC of 22, or their race becomes Verlaka. This removes all of their original racial traits, including ability score increases, and replaces them with that of the Verlaka. I don't like that part. I'd probably just let them keep it. In this case, both you and the target suffer 3 levels of exhaustion. Oh, man. This is so... I am really liking this one. Alright, one more. Crimson Wings. As a bonus action, you can take the form of a tiny flying creature to revert to your true form. Once you choose this form, you cannot change into another flying creature. While in this form, you cannot attack, but you have a flying speed equal to 40 feet and a +2 to your armor class. If you are reduced to 0 HP, you return to this normal shape. Oh, dude, the Verlaka are cool. I really like this one. This is a contender for sure. So, I want you guys to tell me in the comment section below, which one of these did we go over today that you really liked? I will be picking at least 1 or 2 from this video, and the video that you guys will see on Thursday. I would be picking at least 2 from these videos to pick and make my own vampire Vampire Verlaka character. So far, Verlaka is in the rankings for me. I really like it. It's really cool. But again, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, please head on down there and hit that like button for me. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe so you never miss some more Moch Creations Homebrew Heist. I'm really enjoying this new set of videos that we're doing here on the channel. I really love exploring everything Dungeons and Dragons has to offer the community, and the homebrew community is amazing. I would never have thought to have done a vampire like this, and honestly, I'm going to be considering it very highly. Verlanka might be coming into my world here soon. So again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!